Hello friends, and welcome to this first video about the nutrition topic. In this video we're going to talk about the basic processes that happens inside our body, why we consume the food that we consume, and how our body communicates. So it is crucial to understand these basic processes in order to understand how properly use our body the way it was designed. So if you don't understand essentially how the body works, how it was designed to work, you'll most probably misuse it, and it will show up sooner or later. So all this and more coming right up. Hello guys, so let us just position ourselves in our grand scheme. So we're talking about taking care of your body, and the first topic, nutrition, just the framework. We are going to talk in this next couple of videos about how essentially our body works, and it is not our choice. It was designed so many years ago and nothing is changed. So basically what should we eat, but it is not only that, it also when should we eat and when we should not eat. That is called fasting, and eventually we will probably touch a little bit of supplementation. This is like a new way to get some nutrition inside your body, modern way. So what is needed, what is not really needed, we will touch everything. So let us start. We eat food as an organic machine. We have no other choice to fuel ourselves, to get us working. So we actually eat food to get the nutrition inside the food. What is nutrition? So there are main two types of nutrition: macronutrients and micronutrients. So the macro means large, a lot, we eat a lot of them. There are carbs, fats, and proteins that consist of 20 different amino acids that just build different types of proteins. So we use carbs and fats mostly for fuel, just to fuel ourselves and provide the energy, the calories that we need. Protein can be burned as fuel, but usually the body doesn't use it as fuel. It uses it as a building block, as a part that he builds different stuff in our body. You see, our body is like a chemical factory. It manufactures the parts that it needs. Why? Because all the time cells are dying, processes are happening, and we need to replace parts, and we have waste, and we are a dynamic organic machine. So in order to provide the tools and the parts, the spare parts for all these processes that are happening, we need this nutrition. So the micronutrients, these are absolutely crucial parts. There are vitamins and there are minerals that we consume, and they're absolutely needed. If we take an analogy, for example, your car as a system, and believe me, our body is much more complex, so you need the fuel. Without it, of course, the car will not go. But you also need these spare parts and the filters and the tires and the accumulator, all these parts in order to go. If you will not have these parts, the car might go for some time, but eventually it will stop, just because you are not using it the right way. You can go with a flat tire, but eventually you wouldn't be able. So what is important to know here, there are some nutrients that are not essential. That means that our body can produce them from other nutrients. So for example, vitamin D. And there are some nutrients that are essential. We need to consume them from our food because we can make them. And the body has its capacity to, you know, to compensate, but eventually if you are very, very deficient in some kind of nutrient, it's like going with that flat tire. It will, you know, jump somewhere, and it will show, the problem will show itself. And these days, many people are very deficient in nutrients. They're consuming food, but remember, food is not about the energy that we eat. It is about the nutrients that we need. There is no problem with fuel, with the calories, but the food should be full of these nutrients, and if it's empty, this is a problem. So now let's us take a look at our digestive system. So the purpose of this digestive system is just extract as much nutrients as possible from the food that we eat. It will make the best efforts to extract whatever it can. So we have different organs, not all of them are listed here, maybe in the picture, but it starts with our mouth. Now the next stop is our stomach, then we have a small intestine and a large intestine. So what is important, that our stomach is extremely important. You know, we can usually mess it up because it is very acidic place, and when it is not acidic enough, it just will not extract, not be able to create that atmosphere conditions that will extract all the food, especially with amino acids and proteins, right? So in our small intestines, the main issue is our enzymes. We have digestive enzymes that just extract as much as possible. This is a large, very high, you know, surface area, and we just digest a lot of food right there, and we absorb as much as we can. And our large intestines is the place where most of our gut bacteria lives, actually. So of course this is extremely important. Now we know that we have this symbiotic relationship with our gut bacteria. All the things that are through the small intestines were not able to be metabolized. Now the microbes are helping us. They are eating, so we provide them food, but they are providing us up to 10% of what we eat. All right, so they are fermenting, you know, all this stuff that we couldn't digest, and they feed us nutrients that we actually need, but it's not provided by us, it's provided by them. They have like a large part, a large role that we don't fully understand in our everyday life. This is a symbiotic relationship with them. So extremely important, our gut microbiome. We have something that's called gut-blood barrier. So it is a thin lining that separates your digestive system, where the food is coming, and where your blood is. And the barrier is very important, very delicate place, because whatever gets in your bloodstream gets actually now inside your body. So nutrients are allowed to go, but microbes, you know, and viruses and other malicious stuff are not allowed. When you have problems in that intestinal barrier, and it is easy to do, relatively, unfortunately, so problems begin because inflammation begins. Most of your immune system are sitting right there because it's such a sensitive place. It has to be guarded. So these days we believe that most of the autoimmune diseases are actually starts there in your gut, and the problem that is called leaky gut, when you have these holes inside your intestine wall. So it needs to be repaired. Another thing that we have is a gut-brain axis. So back then when we were, I don't know, designed, so there is a way to communicate actually with our gut bacteria. This is not a human spoke language, but there are actually nerves that coming, you know, from your gut to your brain, and the other way around also. So for example, the way that you feel, the way that you think and you feel can actually affect the way that you metabolize the food, and it actually does impact, you know, your gut and your microbes. And the other way around is also the gut microbes health will for certain affect the way that you feel, the way that your body works. And there are many new studies that even tie it to autism and much more. It is still you know, under research, all this, and it's fascinating. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is our hormones. So actually, the hormones is the communication system of our body. Our body does not speak the language of calories. It doesn't care how many calories you ate. It only uses these signals that our body sends via hormones. So usually you have some kind of gland that get the signal from the brain and produces this hormone, this molecule. And there are receptors that can be all over the body or concentrated in one place, and they are listening, all right? And when they get the signal, they make you usually feel something, so they get the message. So this is the communication process of the body, of different parts and systems of the body. So for example, the hunger word hormone called ghrelin, the satiety hormone called leptin. So what I'm saying here is actually if you are hungry, you want to eat right now, this is not because you need these calories. Maybe you need other nutrients that your body trying to tell you something, but usually we have like enough calories. I have hundreds of thousands of calories right now on me, stored as fat. And why would I be hungry if I needed fuel? I have enough fuel. So the only way that I feel hungry is because my ghrelin levels are elevated. The reasons for that we're going to talk later. So the other very important word, it wasn't as important initially, but it became very important, is the word, the hormone insulin, that is responsible for many of our problems these days. So usually, you know, the word insulin is there for a couple of reasons, but here we are going to talk about the word means that food is coming, and especially it's very sensitive to carbohydrates. So food is coming, prepare yourself. That is what it tells to the body, all right? And the other word, hormone that acts as a hormone but also a neurotransmitter, is dopamine, which is the reward system on our body. You see, back in the day, like long time ago, our body would incentivize and encourage us to do life-preserving activities, gene-passing activities. So eating food, it would pump a little bit of dopamine that will make you feel good. And just you know, having sex that will promote the survival of our species will also be rewarded in a dopamine secretion, so you will feel good, right? Now this dopamine reward system sits in the heart of the addiction process, and it just hijacks the dopamine system. The dopamine system, the insulin systems are not bad, you know, by themselves. They are just hijacked, they are misused, they are abused. And what happens in the addiction, it usually, it feels, you know, so good. So the when you do something that just you know, creates that dopamine secretion, and then you do it over and over and over again, and the receptors are going all right. I develop resistance, you know, to that specific hormone. This is too much, and then you need more of that hormone to create the same sensation, you know, and this is the resistance part. So we just you know, take something like food, for example, or sugar or alcohol, and that makes you feel good, but you abuse it over and over again until a point that your body is not able to regulate itself anymore, and it develops these resistances. And of course there are more to it, but the physical part is this hormonal loop. So in the next video we are going to talk a little bit more about our genetic heritage as a Homo sapien, where and how we were designed to act, you know, and how we use our systems properly. And of course, what are we doing these days so bad, maybe last couple of decades, that just make us feel and be very, very sick at a very young age these days, in the modern times. So yeah guys, this is it for this video. My name is Eddie. Thank you for watching, and if you want to stay updated, please subscribe and push the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.